Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back. Country here. I think we met last week. Nice to meet you. Man, has it been an amazing week. I have started to acclimate myself to 2020. You know, I've been off the grid for a while, since 1996. I have learned a lot about my neighborhood, Smyrna, Georgia. I've learned a lot about my neighbors, bunch of assholes, I'm here to tell you. And I've learned a lot about what's going on in the world. So I need to catch you up on a couple of things because I've spent the week doing research, and I got most of my information from Olabambe. He was my Uber driver when I went down to the bar the other night because I wanted to have a drink because I was thirsty. And I said, I want to go to have a drink. So I called the Uber, and they sent me a notification that said my driver's name was Olabambe. And I said, well, hey, Olabambe. And he said, hello. And I was like, how are you? He said, good. How are you? I said, I'm good. I said, catch me up on the world around us. And of course, the first damn thing you want to talk about was the coronavirus. Now, I apologize. I feel like I might have misinformed you about a couple of things. Evidently, the coronavirus is not from the beer Corona. Sorry about that. I don't drink much Corona, so I wouldn't have gotten it anyway. And it did come from China, and it might have come from a lab, and something about they didn't mention it until the end of the year last year, but it might have been going around China for months and months and months and months and just infecting all the animals and the pigs, and something about a woman eating a bat at a restaurant or some kind of flea market. Honey, I don't know anything about that. All I know is I've gone to the Google, and the CDC has recommended that we socialize distancing. So I have made myself an expert on it. Now, you are not allowed to be any closer than 6 feet apart, which has probably ruined the prostitution industry. But that's okay. Into every life, a little rain must fall, or a lot of rain. But I mean, shit, everything falls on prostitutes. Think about what they do for a living. So it's probably wreaked havoc on the prostitution industry, which is what caused the economy to go south so fast. So it's my understanding that people started getting sick and everybody freaked the fuck out and said, okay, we're going to just shut down and stay home. And that Georgia's governor, a guy named Brian Kempston, some shit like that, didn't realize that you could get it if you were asymptomatic. And I was like, well, how's that fucking make sense? If you got it and don't know that you've got it, you can certainly give it to somebody. That's like HIV or AIDS. You can certainly give it to people. That's why the AIDS crisis was such a big deal back in the 80s and 90s, because people were just fucking and giving it to each other and didn't even know they had it or spreading it to each other. So it was a big old mess. So I said, Olabambe, thank you so much. This data is fascinating. You know, he's the one who introduced me to the Google, and I'll forever be grateful because that Google's got some funny shit on it. I'm here to tell you, if you've ever got an hour or two, just sit down and type in funny shit on Google, and all types of funny shit happens. It's just amazing. It's like a crystal ball for the internet. So I asked him, I said, Olabambe, tell me more. Like, I want to know more. Tell me about politics. And he said, okay, do you know who the president is right now? And I said, Bill Clinton. And he said, no, that was a long time ago. And I said, look, I left in 1996, and Bill Clinton, that was so loved on this planet, I thought they were going to make him emperor and just let him rule forever. Well, evidently, he got involved with some girl and a dress and a stain on it, and it just ruined him. So poor Bill Clinton was out of there. So Olabambe told me that then George Bush's son, the idiot from Texas, was the one who became president after Clinton. And I said, well, my God, how long did that village in Texas lose its idiot? And he said 8 years. And I said, well, no, you're fucking kidding me. 8 years? He said, 8 years, sure be. And then he said after that, there was this really trendy guy from Chicago. And his name was Barack Obama. And he did a million beautiful things for the country. And he was our first African-American president. And I said, well, good for you, Mr. Obama. And Obama is real similar to Olabambe. Are y'all related to each other? And he said, no, we're from different countries. And I said, oh, what country are you from? And he said that he was from Zaire. And I was like, well, I haven't been to Zaire's in years. I thought they closed years ago. So then he explained that the current president is Donald Trump. And I said, Donald Trump? And he said, yes, sir, Donald Trump. And I said, the asshole from New York? And he said, yep, one and the same. And I went to Googling, and sure enough, that son of a bitch is president of the United States. And everything that comes out of his mouth is stupid. So I was like, I'll be damned. So I Googled him what he would look like in the 90s, because I said, he doesn't look all that different. So in the 90s, he looked like a traffic cone with a broom in it. And now in 2020, he looks like a bigger traffic cone with a broom in it. Now, at this point, we're getting close to the bar. So I said, oh, hang on one second. Sorry, my mouth got dry. I said, Olabumbe, it's time for you to catch me up. You got to fill me in on the rest of what's going on since I have come back onto the grid. And he said, well, let me tell you about 2020. And I said, fill me in on 2020, but leave out the fucking coronavirus because I done heard about it. He said, 2020 started pretty good. And then the coronavirus came. And I said, I don't want to talk about that fucking coronavirus anymore. But he said, the coronavirus came and states started locking down. And I said, well, that makes sense. Everybody should have locked down because people were dying from the damn thing, and it's contagious. Well, he told me that when Georgia opened up, that people started going out and doing things, and that the governor of Georgia, this Brian Kemp person, who sounds like he's got the damn sense that God gave a stop sign, allowed movie theaters, massage parlors, barber shops, and tattoo parlors to open. So how the fuck does that make any sense? So let me get this straight. You have a contagious human-to-human contact virus that is killing people, but it's okay for you to go to a movie, get a tattoo, get a happy ending massage, and get your hair cut all on the same day? What kind of idiot do we have running this fucking state? I may go back off the grid and move to North Carolina. So anyway, I said, well, what else is happening? He said, well, there was an incident in Minnesota where an African-American man got killed by police. And I said, oh my God, tell me about that. And he said his name was George Floyd, and a police officer put his head on his neck, and George was begging for his mother and begging to get up, and that it had caused all these protests and demonstrations all over the world. And I said, well, good for them for fucking demonstrating, because if a police had put his head on his knee, or his knee on my head and held me to the ground, I'd have found a gun and shot it up his ass. So I think that police officer and all his buddies need to be put under the jail. And I think that the justice needs to come now. Now, I'm not an advocate for demonstrations that turn violent. I don't think that they should turn violent, and I think those who make them turn violent and who agitate it should also go to jail. But at the end of the day, we have to be kind to one another. So Olabumbe pulled up and he said how much he had enjoyed our visit. And I said, I enjoyed our visit too. Thank you for catching me up on 2020, because y'all, it sounds like 2020 has been a shit show. I think we need to all get down on our hands and knees and ask God to make sure 2021 turns out a little bit better. So anyway, thank you for joining me this week. That's my perspective on 2020. Next week, we're going to talk about something else, because this is all depressing and we need to talk about light, fun stuff. So thank you so much for joining me. I couldn't be happier than if I was a blind queer at a weenie roast to be a part of your lives. And I appreciate everything you do. I hope that you have a good day, a good week, and an awesome life. Hey, what's up, guys? This is Mike Mitchell, aka Country. If you like what you saw, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, and also make sure you follow me on Facebook.